Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namustate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusate Devi Paramami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So two verses first, and then we'll take the topic of how Lord appears in this form, that is Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. This is the present form which Krishna has taken. So we saw in the previous verses, the previous class, the depression signs of Arjuna. Now, because of depression, a person is completely confused. In that confusion, he gives so many reasons. The first four reasons for not fighting the war has been very clearly given in this chapter. The fifth reason for not fighting the war is given in the next chapter. So let us see, when you give reasons, okay, let us come to the modes. You know the three types of modes: goodness, passion, ignorance. Satogul, Rajogul, and Tamogul. Whatever activity we do it in these three modes only. And whatever thought process also we have it in these modes only. And whatever reasons also now Arjuna is giving is also depending on these three types of modes. So, first is Satogul. In Satogul, you have so much of daya towards everyone. Yesterday I went for a movie, Kashmir Files. We all should go. All should go. Because you should know what is tamas. What is sato? What is the sato? You are having sato, that is why you are studying. But what is tamas? What is the extent of tamas that can be understood when you go and see such movies? Yeah. So just by seeing it is so depressing, then a person who has experienced how horrible it must be. And what is the solution then? Why a devotee should go and see, not for getting depressed, for finding a solution. There should be a cause for everything. There are so many movies which are released, but why this movie is seen? So that what happened in reality, and what is the solution, what is happening in real life also. Now what is happening, present situation. There's so many who are killed for no reason, just because there is some ego. In one of the president, there is one ego, one president has this ego, one country fights another country. So what is the solution for all these things? Why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared? What is the solution? What is the importance of Sankirtan movement? So tamas means cruelty. And in a tamas, a person doesn't have a little compassion also. But in goodness, a person is always having that daya, especially when he sees a child. He says so much of daya. But a tamas person doesn't have any daya. He can shoot anyone. He can shoot even an infant also. That means the cruelty is there. So much of cruelty is there. But all these three modes are again governed by Krishna only. Their three modes are governed by Krishna. And three modes, the heads of these three modes are Brahma for Rajas, Vishnu for Sato, and Lord Shiva for Tamas. Lord Shiva is the presiding deity for Tamas. Any destruction, it is Lord Shiva who will inaugurate the whole scene. But he is not in Tamas. Huh? You should understand that. He is not in Tamas, but he is the presiding deity of Tamas. Rudra, he takes the form of Rudra, inspires a person who is having that aptitude to get this tamas. If he is inclined to get this tamas along according to the karmas he has done, who inspires him from within? It is Lord Shiva. And who is Lord Shiva? Who is Lord Shiva? He appears in the Bhutruti of Brahma. But again, he appears from Sadashiv. Sadashiv to Shambhu, Shambhu to Shiva. So who is Sadashiv again? Sadashiv is incarnation of Mahasankarshan. Who is Mahasankarshan? Is from Balaram. So now see, Balaram appears as Mahasankarshan. Mahasankarshan is Sadashiv, Sadashiv is Shambhu, Shambhu to Shiva. That means the source of everything again is Balaram. And who is Balaram? Krishna himself. So source of everything, even the destruction is also Krishna. Ultimate source is who? It is Krishna. But then why a person has so much of tamas within him? Because his nature and his attitude and his karmas are for getting that type of guna. He has done such karma. Krishna is not responsible for giving the gunas. His own karmas are responsible for getting that particular type of guna. We should understand it very nicely. Krishna is not the cause. Our own karmas. Our own karmas reap our qualities. Our karmas reap our quality. If we want to have a lot of goodness, then what we should do? We have to take such type of ahara. Ahara shuddhau sattva shuddhi sattva shuddhau dhruva smriti. And then we should have a lot of association with the devotees. Then automatically satoguna is imbibed. When satoguna is there, then the inclination to get that knowledge is there. And what is the characteristic of a satoguna person? He is kind by nature. What is his nature first? He is very kind. He cannot see others suffering. Paradukha asahanam. What it is? Paradukha asahanam. But what is the nature of rajas? This is soft person. Sato is soft person. Tamas is a hard person. In between two is rajas. And how is this rajas? He always has enviousness. Para utkarshanam asahanam. He has an enviousness. So para utkarshanam asahanam is the nature of rajas which reads to tamas. Which reads. When you cannot see others' happiness, others' growth, that enviousness hardens the heart. The softness goes away. Now, what happened on the side of Duryodhana? Everybody was so envious, so envious. Their heart was so hard that they were inclined to fight with their own brothers. Today we are seeing this movie. Okay. Today we are seeing Kashmir files and all this. We are seeing the movie. We are seeing the terrorism also happening. But in the olden days also it was there. But it was according to the Kshatriya Dharma. At least it was according to the Kshatriya Dharma, not that after sunset the bomb is put on your head when you are sleeping. No, at least army, when a person is going to attack, the other person should have the arms with him. He cannot attack when a person is unarmed. It is that much etiquette, not say Vaishnava etiquette, that much any dharma, how to act on that dharma, some etiquettes were followed. So that time also war was there, but that war was with the old family members. Just imagine, just own family members. How much the heart would have been hard for Duryodhana and his team to fight with their own brothers. So that Arjuna could not see. So Arjuna's first reason for not fighting the war is, I don't find anything good by killing our own people. First thing he says, Nacha Shreyo Pashyami Hatva Swajanamahave Nakangshe Vijayam Krishna Nacharajyam Sukhani Cha Nacha Shreyo Pashyami Hatva Swajanamahave Nakangshe Vijayam Krishna Nacharajyam Sukhani Cha. So Nacha Shreyo Pashyami, oh Krishna, I am not seeing anything good. There are two words in Vedic terminology, that is Shreyas and Prayas. Shreyas means what I feel good. Shreyas means what is good for me, and Prayas is what I feel good. There's distinct difference between Shreyas and Prayas. Shreyas is what is good for me, isn't it? And Prayas is what I feel good. Actually, this word should have been Prayas. It should not have been Shreyas. Because he is not feeling good. But that doesn't mean that is not good for him. He says, Nacha Shreyonu Vashyami, I don't find anything good by killing my own people. Swajanam, we had discussed. Swajanam means he considers even the people who have such retaliating attitude to be his. That means he is not finding any difference between his brothers and his cousins. So he has such a soft heart, and that softness of heart categorizes him to be a devotee. Devotee never differentiates with anyone because he understands Krishna as a supreme Lord and he sees everybody as part and parcel of Krishna. That is why he does not have any difference. Oh, he is my person, he is your person, he is my friend, he is my enemy. He doesn't have that attitude. For him, everybody is part and parcel of Krishna. That is why a devotee can rule the world. Actually, a devotee only should rule the world because when devotees will rule the world, there will be peace and tranquility. Because he has that type of softness. Now, he has this an example. He says, they're all my people. How can I fight with them? Nakankshe Vijayam Krishna. I don't want this victory, O Krishna. I don't want. Nacha Rajyam Sukhani. I don't want this Rajya. I don't want this. On the contrary, Duryodhana, when Krishna goes as a peace messenger, he is not ready to give even a 5 pieces of land. Because the Kshatriya Dharma means he has to rule, he has to protect the people. If that is not given, then what type of Dharma he can follow? But Duryodhana is not ready to spare even a small place occupied by the tip of the nail. That is what is the answer which he gives. I will not spare that. That means you see how cruel is Duryodhana, how much tamas and rajas are there. This rajas and tamas is not so much different. Rajas is greed, and this greed when like now the present situation, let us see. What was the greed for Russia? A small place to be occupied. The greed now what it became? It overpowered, the ego overpowered the greed, isn't it? Then destruction started. When this greed is overpowered by false ego, it turns to tamas. What is rajas and tamas? Rajas is it starts with greed. And when the greed matures and your false ego overpowers that greed, then you don't have any buddhi which can act. You just start destroying everything. And in that destruction, you find fun. There is a fun in the destruction for a terrorist. That terrorist can be anybody. That terrorist can be anyone. Even a person who has this subtle nature of even criticism. That is also a terrorist would be, you know. You have lost the compassion. Like in your own houses, you may find somebody criticizing you like anything. Then that person is also a terrorist movie. He may not have gun, but he has a gun of your words. He said a pen is mightier than sword. That thing cannot go away. So terrorism is at 3 levels: at the level of body, at the level of mind, at the level of actions. At the level of body means you speak out something, senses. At the level of senses, at the level of mind, and at the level of actions. You kill somebody, then you feel pity. You have certain bad thoughts about someone. Nobody can understand, but you know you have a bad thought about somebody else. So that is also terrorism. That is also violence only. Now this person is not able to see his own people die. So he says, I don't want anything. Let me go out of all these things. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, without knowing that one's self-interest is in Vishnu or Krishna, conditioned souls are attracted by body relationships, hoping to be happy in such situations. In such a blind conception of life, they forget even the causes of material happiness. Arjuna appears to have even forgotten the moral codes of the Kshatriya. It is said 2 kinds of men, namely the Kshatriya, who dies directly in front of the battlefield under Krishna's personal orders, and the person in the renounced order of life, who is absolutely devoted to spiritual culture, are eligible to enter into the sun globe, which is so powerful and dazzling. Arjuna is reluctant even to kill his enemies, let alone his relatives. He thinks that by killing his kinsmen, there would be no happiness in this life. And therefore, he is not willing to fight. Just as a person who does not feel hunger is not inclined to go. He has now decided to go into the forest and lead a secluded life in frustration. But as a Kshatriya, he requires a kingdom for his subsistence. Because the Kshatriyas cannot engage themselves in any other occupation. But Arjuna has no kingdom. Arjuna's sole opportunity for gaining a kingdom lies in fighting with his cousins and brothers and reclaiming the kingdom inherited from his father, which he does not like to do. Therefore, he considers himself fit to go to the forest to live a secluded life of frustration. Very clearly, it has been given secluded life of frustration. Why secluded life of frustration? Because the nature of a Kshatriya is to be the leader. And if he doesn't have a kingdom for performing that leadership or showing that leadership, then he will go to the forest and there also he will try to become a leader among the beggars. Suppose somebody comes and asks, oh, please help us. Then immediately his leadership quality will come out. Leader means he's always a leader. Even if he has something, he doesn't have a something, but still he has a leadership quality. But to continue having this quality or continue serving in this quality, he needs some possessions with him. If he doesn't have any possession, if he doesn't have a kingdom, then it will be the most frustrating thing for him. That is why a leader should always have some opulence. And Krishna wanted Arjuna to fight so that he will have that opulence with him. And Kshatriya also means Kshatrayatehe Kshatriya, one who protects other against the harm. So he is protecting a person against the harm, he is protecting the mass. That is why for protection he needs opulence. And that for the opulence he should have kingdom. And this person is not ready to give the kingdom. In fact, they usurp the kingdom in a wrong way. Now also such injustices are happening in different places. Like a lady can be shown an injustice by taking her all the possessions and leaving her just helpless on the roads. There are cases which are happening in this way. She's just kept on the road, she doesn't have anything, she gets married and then afterwards she's just left. Then what should be the nyaya? If the nyaya is like, just give up everything and go, no, one has to fight. And that fighting is for dharma. Because it is not that fighting should not be done. Fighting should be done, but it should be for dharma. It should not be for personal sense gratification. Because one may say, no, I want to do bhakti, that is why I don't want to fight and give up everything and go away. Even Arjuna also was speaking like this only. What did he say? Let me give up everything, let me go, let me just live in peace. But then adharma has to be removed. How adharma will be removed? Only by the sword of dharma. Dharma has to be established. If something is wrong, then dharma has to be established. A person cannot say, no, I just want to practice Krishna consciousness. That is why I just give up everything and I will go away. Then there is an injustice which is done, not only like mother. Mother has to protect the children. Like the king has to protect the subjects. If the king only says, no, I don't want anything, let me go away, then how it will happen? That is why the sword of knowledge, the sword of justice, the sword of, this is a weapon of justice has to be taken. And it should be taken in a very, very tactful way. That is why for having even the sword of justice, a person should be calm. Person cannot be restless. Person has to be calm. That is where Krishna consciousness and the shelter of a spiritual master is required. Just imagine, there were kings like Shivaji Maharaj. They were devotees also. Shivaji Maharaj used to go to Tukaram. They were devotees, isn't it? They were devotees also. But at the same time, they protected the land. They protected the land. That means how much harmony they should have in their consciousness. You cannot be disturbed within and give some justice outside. No, you have to be peaceful within. To be a leader, first and the foremost quality is Shantaha. He should be Shantaha within. He can show Ashantaha outside, but within he should be very, very peaceful, very, very calm, very, very tolerant. When you say the Lakshana of a sadhu, sadhu is actually a leader. Who is a sadhu? Sadhu means he is a leader. What are the qualities he should have? Titikshasvaha karunikaha surada sarvehinam ajata shatru shanta sadhava sadhubhushana. He should be tolerant, titikshasvaha. He should be titikshasva karunikaha. He should have the karuna towards others. And that karuna is protecting attitude. protection. He has to have the karuna, he should have tolerance, he should not be inimical. There is a difference between killing an inimical attitude and killing an enemy. You should not hate a person, but you should hate a person's attitude. There is a lot of difference between this. If you hate somebody, you will kill him. But if you hate somebody's nature, then you will try to correct him. There is a lot of difference. That is why our Shastras are not just like that. Our Shastras teaches us how to kill the inimical attitude. And that is protection of Dharma. And for that, we have to do prayas. The prayasa should be to remove the sinful tendency. Killing sinner is not so difficult. You just go and kill him, put a bomb, he will die. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement is kill that sinning tendency itself. Start killing the tendency. So for this, lot of practice is required. Lot of practice. A lot of efforts have to be put in a peaceful way or in a retaliating way, whatever. There may be different ways, but different ways to remove the sinful tendency so that dharma will be established. And that is how Srila Prabhupada, when Britishers were ruling this country, Srila Prabhupada goes to West. That is the time we got independence. Actually, 1969 and 1947, we got independence. But Srila Prabhupada, when he was young, he was a youth. That time, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we met Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who had even Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose as his disciple. So in that time itself, freedom fighting was going on. And Srila Prabhupada wanted to join the army also. Then Srila Prabhupada thought, killing a person or killing the sinful tendency is more important. And that motivated Srila Prabhupada to take up the sword of knowledge. There are two types of sword. Sword of a metal kill a person, and sword of knowledge kill the person's tendency to commit the sins. And that is how Srila Prabhupada goes to West. And those who made Indians as slaves, Prabhupada goes and makes them follow Krishna consciousness. Don't say don't make them slaves. Follow Krishna consciousness. That is more important. Change the face of the whole world. And Srila Prabhupada's first festival was Jagannath Baladev Subhadra's Rath Yatra. It so happened Srila Prabhupada is in London, and at the time, one of his disciples brings a doll. Prabhupada, see what a beautiful doll. Prabhupada immediately paid obeisances. This girl could not understand what is happening. And this girl said, why did you pay obeisances? No, just go to the departmental store and get another two. There may be another three. Yes, I saw another two. I selected one and I brought. No, bring all three. And that is how Srila Prabhupada, when Prabhupada goes to the West, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra already have gone there. And Jagannath Baladev Subhadra is got by Srila Prabhupada by this girl, because of this girl. And then Prabhupada told his disciples, you know, who are they? Because Prabhupada paid obeisances, they could not even understand it. Who are they? Half hand, half body, no legs practically visible, big eyes. And how to understand them? Then Prabhupada started teaching them about Jagannath mystery, the mystery of Lord Jagannath. So happened Krishna and Balaram in the Krishna Leela, that is in Dwapar Yuga. In Dwarka, there was a conference done by all the queens of Krishna, headed by Rukmini, with Rohini. They call Rohini. Rohini is also mother of Balaram. They asked Rohini that we are serving Krishna so nicely. Every day, practically, we are making so many items for Krishna. Why is it that Krishna is crying? Always we find Krishna crying. In the night, in the sleep, he says Radhe, he says Sudama. Who are they? He always cries. Even though we are serving him, something we find that he is not happy here. Who are they? Then Rohini says they are actually Vrajavasis. They know they are Vrajavasis, but then we want to know more about them. Then Rohini says, I am ready to tell, but the whole thing, if Krishna happens to hear this, he will run away from this place. Already he is not interested in staying in Dwarka, but he will run away to Vrindavan. If we want really that Krishna should not hear, then keep Subhadra in the gate so that she will not allow Krishna to come inside. So Subhadra is standing in the door. So see that Krishna does not enter. And here Rohini starts all the Leelas, right from the birth Leela to all his childhood pastimes, to the Yavana pastimes. In this way, the love of the Vrajavasis towards Krishna, love of the gopis headed by Srimati Radharani towards Krishna, all these pastimes when Rohini is telling, Subhadra is so engrossed in hearing the Leelas that she has forgotten that to her right, who has come and stood? Baladev. To her left, Jagannath. And they are also absorbed in hearing. Sometimes when you're absorbed in hearing, especially when you see the children, when they see the movies, they shrink their body. They shrink their body, their eyes are wide open, and they hear with rapt attention. At the time you talk to them, they don't even look at you. You give them something to eat, also they don't know what they're eating. But with rapt attention, they were hearing. Even Krishna is hearing, he's crying, Balram is crying because they're just absorbed in the Vraja Prema. And now Krishna has, like, see, his shrink, completely shrink the body. Narada sees this form. Narada says, oh, so beautiful. All three of you are looking. Oh, Krishna, why don't you appear like this? Then Krishna said, in the second 50th year of Brahma stays for 100 years. First 50 years, Brahma, Lord appears to Brahma in a particular form. The next 50 years onwards, 51st years onwards, I will appear in this form. So this is now the 51st year of Brahma, which is going on. 51st year, one day of Brahma is going on. Anyhow, in the fourth chapter, you are going to come and see, you are going to see how many years Brahma stays, how many days are there for Brahma. Brahma's years cannot be counted by our material calculations. It's so long and so big. So in this way, Brahma, he has told to Brahma, he has told to Narada that in the second prarabdha, this is known as the second prarabdha, I will appear in this form. And this crying form of Krishna is Jagannath. Now, how Lord appeared, let us understand. Avanti Raja, there was a king, Avanti Raja. In his Avanti kingdom, Avanti is in Orissa. In this Avanti kingdom, there was a great king, and many pilgrims used to come to his place and describe the different places they have gone and they have visited. So all these pilgrims used to say and describe about the pilgrimages. So once it so happened, one pilgrim told, I have never seen a deity like Neel Madhav. He said, where is Neel Madhav? He said, you should go to the Nilachala Parvat. Nilachala is the present Orissa, Puri, Jagannath. So there is a beautiful deity and Lord practically stays there. So he had the curiosity king, but king cannot go first. King will go send the minister first. So Vishwavashu goes there to see these deities. But then he goes to the Sabar class of people. These deities were taken care by the Sabar class of people. Sabar means who tends the pigs. Who tends the pigs? Those people, Sabar class of people were there. And the head person of the Sabar class, he used to take care of the deities, but he was not showing the deities to Vishwavashu. But Vishwavashu also thought, no, I will somehow see the deities because that is what my king wants, that I should see the deities and see where they are. So the Vishwavashu stays there. In meantime, he falls in love with the daughter of this Sabar priest, Sabar head. So her name is Lalita. And then he says to Lalita, somehow you tell your father to take me for the darshan of those deities. He says, no problem. Then she requests the father, because every day when the father comes back after worshipping the deities, he will have a special fragrance in his body. So then even Vishwavasu was thinking that this fragrance is not an ordinary fragrance. It's not the fragrance of this material world. So then somehow blindfolded, he was taken to that place because there was a fear that this person may take the deities to the kingdom. That is why blindfolded he was taken there. But on the way, this Lalita gave some mustard seeds. He started putting the mustard seeds, went there blindfolded, saw the deities. He was surprised to see how beautiful are these deities. Lord practically is staying here. And there was a kund where a crow falls there. Even today that kund is there in Jagannath Puri. How many of you have gone to Jagannath Puri? You have seen that kund? There is a kund there, small kund. There, the crow is seen to have fallen and got liberated. Then he understood this is the place where a person can get liberation. I will tell my king that this is the place when Nil Madhav is there. And he goes back to his Avanti kingdom. Now the king says, I want to have the darshan. He says, oh, no problem, come. So then he brings the king, Indradyumna. He comes behind, but how to go? Now this has sprouted. This rye has sprouted, mustard seeds. Taking that path, the king goes there. When the king goes there, he sees that the deities have vanished. When the deities have vanished, he feels so disheartened. What is this? All the day I had sent. I wanted to see these deities. At that time, he hears a sound that you go to the ocean of Bhubaneswar. There you will find, that is the West Bengal. There you will find logs of wood. They are known as Daru Brahman. Take your men, carve the deities, and I will appear in a different form. So in this way, he gets a message. Indradyumna goes, gets the 3 logs of wood. But then it was not so easy to take the logs of wood. There were practically more than 300 people employed to just bring those woods to the palace. Now, who is going to carve the woods? The local artisans were called, they could not even put a sickle in that. So then Vishwakarma, who is a celestial carpenter or celestial sculpture, you can say, he came. Then his condition was, you should not open till I open the door. You should not disturb me. If you disturb me, then I will vanish. So the sound is to come. The sound is to come. Practically for 11 days, this person has not eaten anything, and slowly the sound stopped. Now the wife of Indradyumna told that I think he has not drunk even water also, not even had anything. Maybe he must have fainted. Let us open the door and see. So it was clearly told not to open, but still on the 12th day they opened. When they opened, they found Vishwakarma is vanished, because he has told, I will stop immediately the moment you open. He is vanished. When he is vanished, the deities were all half carved, half hand, practically no legs. Then in this way, half carved deities. Indradyumna started cursing himself. What is this? Because of me, the whole deities now became half carved. But then again, Lord appears in the dream and said, these were the desires of Narada. At that time, Lord relates a story that how Krishna was hearing with rapt attention Balaram and Subhadra, and this was a desire of Narada that he wanted to see such form. So then Indradyumna was told that these are the forms. These are non-different from Radha, Krishna, because Krishna is who? Krishna is a combination of Radha, Krishna only. Krishna, Radharani cannot be separated from Krishna. For whom is Krishna crying? Jagannath is crying for Radharani. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radharani is crying for Krishna. So in this way, he is Radha Viraha Vidura. Who is he? Radha Viraha Vidura. He is crying Krishna, though looks to be very opulent, like a king of Dwarka, but he is crying in separation from Brajavasis. So that crying Krishna, or you can say that opulent Krishna who is actually relishing the Madhurima mood, is Jagannath. So Jagannath is actually, if you see, he is a king. He is a king. Nilachala is compared to Dwarka. Then there is a place known as Sundarachal. In this Jagannath Rath Yatra, what happens? Jagannath is brought from the main temple to Gundicha temple. Gundicha is wife of Indradyumna. So Indradyumna, because of Indradyumna's devotion and Gundicha's devotion, they asked Lord that we don't want anyone as our children. We just want you only as our child. So Gundicha is in the mood of Yashoda. So once in a year, for practically 10 days, Lord comes from Nilachal to Sundarachal. Sundarachal is still compared to be Vrindavan, Brajavasis. So in the mood of Brajavasis or in the mood of Srimati Radharani, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually gives this mystical reason. And he teaches that who is Jagannath actually, who is Jagannath, and what is this Rath Yatra. Actually, he brings it to the limelight. Everybody knew in Jagannath Puri, but there are to the whole world who has given this knowledge. This is Srila Prabhupada, but how? Through the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya is crying Krishna, but in the mood of Radharani. And there Jagannath is crying Krishna for Radharani. So that is how. So you can understand what is the importance of Jagannath Baldev Subhadra. So I just told you also today I'll repeat it because the question was who is Jagannath, who is Baladev, and who is Subhadra. Subhadra is Krishna's sister, and Balaram is not different from Srimati Radharani. And these deities from Thane, they have come from Jagannath Puri. For them, special train was booked, special seat was booked, and they came from there. And practically, they stayed here only 2007. They have come 2007. Now, after 15 years, they are getting a home for a wonderful home, at least a permanent home. Till now, they were only born to everywhere. Any other doubt? So you had doubt about Radha Krishna. And Radha Krishna again, when Lakshmi Narasimha Vigraha comes, Lakshmi Narasimha is also worshipped very nicely. In Boisar, we are going to have Lakshmi Narasimha Vigraha. Why Lakshmi Narasimha? Because the fear also for the fear fears the personification of fear. Can say fear personified, fears Lord. To remove the fear from the heart of the devotees, Lord appears as Narasimha. So when a devotee sees any form of Krishna, he can see Krishna in the form. Jagannath is form of Krishna, Narasimha is form of Krishna, and Jagannath Puri is also known as Purushottama Kshetra, Shri Kshetra, Purushottama Kshetra, Jagannath Kshetra, Anna Kshetra. And in this Kaliyuga, Lord appeared in this form to show that the prana is in Anna. If you see, a person is not getting food, then he really practically dies, isn't it? The prana, where is the prana for everyone? It is in Anna. So there, even if you have not taken darshan and you have taken Jagannath Prasad, it is as good as you have taken darshan. Lord is there in the form of prasadam. The mercy of prasadam has been given. That is why Jagannath Prasad is very, very important prasad. From Jagannath Puri, people go, it is said even Brahma, he hankers to take Jagannath Prasad if it is stuck even in the mouth of a dog. That much important is Jagannath Prasad. He said Raghunath Das Goswami. He is known to be an acharya for renunciation. He was from a very rich family, aristocratic family. But he runs away from his house and comes and stays in Jagannath Puri. And he shows the example of renunciation. What he used to eat was, after cooking, there the cooking is done by Lakshmi. Not ordinary people can cook there. It is said at least 10 to 15 pots will be kept down the fire. And the pot which is up, that cooks first. And many people have started, I've done many research also, especially ISKCON people also did a lot of research. They could not find the mystery behind this. Many people have done the research. How is it that the pot which is on the top cooks the first? That is why there it is said Lakshmi cooks. Though the Pandas all are there, but Lakshmi cooks. There are so many mystical things happen. Pancharatra was tried to be established by Ramanujar over there. He took all the three Vaishnavas, so the Pancharatra will be established. Pancharatra is system of worship. But then the Pandas over there, just imagine who are those Pandas, the same summer class of people, in which the priestly people, at least they are actually Brahmanas. But such summer class of people, they got the deities of, they are also the Daitas there, those who were worshipping Neelamadhav, now they are the Daitas. Daitas means they are the servants of Lord. Brahmin families who are there, who are the servants there, they become the priests over there. But other all are from the summer class only, but they are not called as summer class because they are servants of Jagannath. Now they are not tending the pigs, but they got the opportunity to serve the Lord. That is why they became the Daitas. So such Daitas, they are just serving Krishna. They don't know how to tell some shlokas and all. They're Jai Jagannath. Everything is Jai Jagannath. They don't know morning we have to wake up or night we have to make them sleep. Bhogas are just offered. How to even offer them? They just go and keep everything in front of him. They will show some water like this. And if the reflection of Lord is not there, they'll take all the bhogas and then give them in the place. If the reflection is not seen, that means it is contaminated. They will go and dig everything and they will make the bhogas along with Lakshmi. It is Lakshmi who cooks and they all will help. So there is so mystical. Jagannath Puri is a mystical thing. And here Ramanuja goes to establish Pancharatmika Vidhi. Overnight he is transported from there. And morning he is waking up and saying, where is he? He is in the Purva Kshetra. So there is only Jagannath and his Pandas. The Pandas love Jagannath so much. So much they love. And when they cook, they clean the kitchen. That time from the kennel, the rice comes. And here Raghunath Das Goswami is to sit near that kennel. That means now what it is, it's practically like wasted thing. He will collect that, he will dry it, and that he is to eat. That is a mahima. That you get it even in the small bags. And that bags are kept. So that is a mahima of Jagannath Puri. The rice is not ordinary rice offered to Krishna. Lakshmi cooks. It so happened once. We all had gone to Yatra. So then Kamalashan Prabhuji asked, because then in pots only you'll get everything. You get dalma over there. So Prabhuji asked that Panda, how you make this? He got so angry. In an angry mood, he said, we cook or what? Lakshmi cooks here. Lakshmi cooks here. I was just thinking. From that time, that night I had a desire. Even I also want to learn. Because Prabhuji asked, is not giving the recipe, even I want to learn. And if you want to have darshan, you should not go in the morning. Real darshan happens in the night, doing the shayan. Any temple you have seen, shayan darshan happens. In this shayan only nicely Lord will be dressed, because now he's going for what? No, he's not going to sleep. He will make everybody sleep and he's going to go for Ras Leela. That is why nice dressing happens, and Geet Govindam is sung. Geet Govindam is nothing but the wonderful song which is written by Jayadeva Goswami for Radha and Krishna. He likes to hear this. And to hear this song also, he used to come outside and hear. When he used to come outside and hear, every time there used to be some bruises in his face, because thorny in the rose garden was there. So the king comes and asks, what is this, Pandas? Who is making like this bruises? The Lord comes and in the dream and said, why are you troubling the Pandas? Actually, the girl sings very nicely. That is why I'm going and hearing them. From that time, the rule became that let him not go out. We will only go inside and sing. So every day, Geet Govindam is sung. And suppose somebody says, oh Lord, you don't sleep, then he will not sleep that day. I heard this, so I thought, let me also try out. So I told Lord, you should not sleep today. Even I want to see you whole night. I don't know. There was no shayan that day. I was thinking, okay, why did I say I'm feeling sleepy here? 6 o'clock when there was no shayan over there. Whole night we were watching. And in that night, Nidra Devi is brought outside. But still the doors are not closed. Nidra Devi was brought outside. And she's Lakshmi, form of Lakshmi. One Panda suddenly came, who held my hairs like this and just took me to the feet of Nidra Devi. I told, please teach me the Dharma. I should have asked at least that time land at least. I know, please teach me Dharma. It's a true fact. Next day, the same Panda who shouted at Prabhuji, he tells to me, then dream Lord comes to me and tells that I should teach you Dharma. I was very surprised and taken back. I learned, came here and cooked in the pot, and same taste. I gave to Prabhuji. He said, wonderful. From that time, Dalma became now famous. At least the same Dalma, what recipe he taught, the same recipe, but I taught to many after that. It's a secret over there. But somehow maybe Krishna wants that everybody should cook Dalma. That's why. So there all mystical things happen. All mystical things. It's like you're out of imagination. You think how it is happening. There it is said, all the residents of Jagannath Puri, they're all Vaikuntha Vasis. Lord practically stays there. Somebody told me now one of the story that his mother wanted him to go and take darshan, and this person was like, Lord is there or what? So mother had taken one mannat. Now Satish Prabhu Karji, he had come. He told me. In the 11th, because any mannat you take, at least till 12 years, you should finish it off. In the 11th year, he was in so much of crisis that mother said, at least now go and take darshan. He went and took darshan. And he went to take darshan. For it is 15 days, there's Annavasara period. That is for 15 days, Lord does not give darshan. Before Jagannath Rath Yatra, for 15 days, Lord doesn't give darshan. And it accidentally happened that he went that time only. He started crying. And what to do? He started crying. But then he went to Alarnath. A lot of wonderful things are there. He'll take you to darshan there. Take you to Yatra. If you want to come also, you can come. I'm going on first Jagannath Puri, because we want to have a similar type of temple in our. So we're taking the architect there. So little bit similar structures, similarities, some of the architecture over there. Orissa architecture is a very special architecture. So you want to join, you can come along with me. On first we are going and coming back on fourth. First flight is there on fourth. So stop here. Hare Krishna.
Shri Krishna Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam.